Alright, my name is Jason Solis. I'm from Carpentry Valley High School, and I'm competing in carpentry. So the first step I took was I cut the bottom core. It was an 8-foot piece. I cut a 63 and a half, 63 and 43 degrees on each side with the speed square. And then I moved on to the top core, and I measured it out to 5 feet and 5 inches and 7/8, both of them, and then I cut the 26 and a half degrees with the speed square. I marked it out, and then I cut them. And then after that, I moved on to the king post. The king post, I split it in half, and on the top, I cut a 26 degree and a half on both sides, so it'd be a triangle on top. Then I moved on to the web parts. I figured out it was going to be a 60 on the bottom and a 30 on top. And I cut one, measured it, and it fit, so I just replicated the same one to the next one, and they also fit. Then I started cutting the OSB cleats, were the 3.5 by 6. And after that, when I measured everything up, so it will be the right measurements, I started nailing the cleats to form the rafter, and I started with I don't remember right, but I think the top cleat, the corner, on the top. I assembled the king post and the top cores where I assembled it, and then I moved on to the bottom one and make sure it was squared with the bottom core and the king post. And I moved on to the sides, and then at last I finished it up with the web. Nailing the webs, and after that I double checked all my measurements, and then I moved on to my wall. After that, I started with the straightest piece on the bottom plate and the top plate. And after I got the pieces, I started calculating the width of the king studs, and I cut all the king studs. And when I was done cutting the king studs, I started cutting the jack studs for the door. And then I started making the header with OSB and 2 pieces of wood and 2 pieces of 2x4. I sandwiched the OSB, and I nailed it on with 16Ds, 6 of them. Then I assembled the door separate. I started nailing the king stud and the jack studs. After that, I nailed the header with 16Ds on the side. And when I was done with the door, I moved on to the window. At the window, I did the same process. I started to cut the jack studs, and then I assembled them, and then I cut the header, the same process as the door. And when I was done, I measured for the silk plate, and it was supposed to be a foot and 6 inches. And I started assembling the window also, and I cut the cripple studs for all of them. I measured it out, calculated it from the plans, and when I was done assembling the windows and the door apart, I started to put everything together, such as the door and the window and the top and bottom plate. I nailed the middle piece before I nailed the surroundings. So I started nailing the door with to the top plate and bottom plate. Then I continued with the window, and then when I was done with those, I continued to the king studs around the surroundings. And when I was done assembling that, I started measuring and calculating where the cripple studs were gonna go in place, and I added the cripple studs on all the door and the window. And when I was done with that, I cut the OSB bracing for the walls. It was a 20-foot by 20-foot inches. And I cut that in half, and I assembled that side and this side. I started nailing this one on the ground.
Jason, can you move away just this way a little bit so I can get that in?
I assembled this one on the ground, and then I picked them all up, and then I nailed that one. Now, when I was done, I nailed that one. After that, I was looking at the plans, and I saw it was going to be a butt wall, so we had a top plate diagonal from the wall. So it was going to be a 1 foot piece, and it had to be 6 inches from the middle of the wall, 6 inches to your left and 6 inches to your right, so I had to be in the center. And after I cut both of the pieces, I nailed this one and that one together, and then I nailed this one and that one. After that, I looked at the plans and calculated the length of the double top plate. I nailed that one together, and that was that. Some key factors I didn't do with the wall is that it didn't indicate in the plans we're adding another 2x4 here, since the wall was going to be a butt wall. And that's pretty much the process I did assembling the wall.